extremely excited to be able to have this conversation with you today. I've been trying to get hold of you for freaking 10 years. 10 years.
I can't believe that it's taken that long, to be honest with you.
Yes. So I'm going to take you back 10 years ago. It was about November 14, 2015. I was sitting in the TD-ECU Stadium watching this 10th game of the season for the Houston Cougars. And I'm watching us lose our starting quarterback in the third quarter, and then going to the fourth quarter with a 20-point deficit. And the stadium starts to empty out. And, the fans are like really anxious. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, we were undefeated at the time.
Exactly. We were 9-0 at the time. And I
love that you say we were 9-0.
Yeah.
You were part of it. I know.
Us as the Cougar fans,
yes.
we take our sports seriously.
I know.
And 9-0, 10th game, potentially 10th victory. We haven't had a season like this in a long, long time. And we're losing by 20 points. Stadium's starting to empty out because, us fans don't like to stay till the end. And I debated if I should leave the stadium too, to be honest. But something inside of me was like, you know what? I have confidence. I believe in the Cougars. I believe in Coach Herman. I know what he's doing. I'm going to stay here till the very end. And let me tell you, it was a life-changing experience for me, witnessing that comeback victory. We went on to win that night, 35-34. Yeah. And then with the blocked field goal, the missed field goal at the end, sealed the deal, and we're 10-0. And I know you were probably celebrating with your team, but I'm up in the stands, super rejuvenated, because I had just come off of layoffs 2 weeks prior to that game, and I'm giving you kind of a backdrop. I had been running my business, and I had a lot of success early on, but in 2015, I was near bankruptcy, and our company was about to shut down. I had laid off just 100 people 2 weeks prior, and as a young 30-something-year-old CEO, I had no idea what I was going to do. I didn't know if I could keep the lights on any longer. I didn't even know if I deserved to be the CEO at that moment. And I honestly was contemplating shutting down Softway. And believe it or not, watching that comeback victory gave me all the inspiration I needed to make sure I would not give up. I wanted to go back and fight for Softway the way I saw the Cougars fight that night. And so, number one, I wanted to share that with you.
Well, it's funny how the games, obviously I've coached in a lot of big games, and that was certainly one of the ones that you remember a lot of the details of. But to know that just the way we played inspired you, let alone what I said after or anything, but just the fact that team and the way that they played inspired this aha moment for you is pretty cool to know that not just me, but that those players, those kids had that effect just in the way that they handled their business and came back and won that game. It's pretty cool.
No, totally. And, I watch TV and sports, and almost everything I watch. This one I was actually in the stadium, but I always try to contemplate what would it be like if it was me? What if I was in their shoes? How would I do it? How would I lead this team and so forth? So I was super, super inspired up until that point in time, watching you in your first rookie head coach year season, and how you took the Cougars from, being considered unlikely to win the conference championship to winning the championship. But that game in particular was a game changer, like, no pun intended. But after that moment, I went home, couldn't sleep, because all I could think of was like, okay, how do I turn around our company? How do I have our fourth quarter financial comeback? And, Monday rolled in, super excited, go into the office, and back then we used to use Facebook Live to see the press conference live. So I logged in at 11 a.m. to watch you speak to the press because, I had been like really following you. I had seen how you were leading, how you would speak, your charisma, your energy. You not only had inspired our team, but you had inspired the entire fan base. Like that hadn't happened in a while. And you had this H-Town takeover. Like it was a great season. And so I was really like inspired by how you were leading. And in that press conference, one of the reporters asked you, Tom, or I don't think they refer to you as Tom. I think they refer to you as Coach.
Probably.
Coach, probably.
That's all right.
I don't remember. I'm
I
paraphrasing.
think we all got the idea.
Yeah. It's like, hey, you speak a lot about love. You talk a lot about love to your team and stuff. And that comeback victory that you had Saturday night, how does that play into it? And something to that effect. And it was what you said that truly sent me into a deep introspective moment. You said it was love.
Yeah.
It was the love and support that the players had for one another that helped them the game on Saturday night. And then, I know I'm saying your words.
No,
but I want to hear from you, like, what was it? Why did you choose to go down that path? And what was your response in that moment? You obviously seemed like you meant it. But can you share what you were saying?
Which is probably the most surreal part of this whole experience for me is I was just telling the truth. I didn't intend to motivate anybody that was watching, and I think the question was just kind of how we were able to kind of do all of what we were doing, not just that comeback, but throughout the season and all of that. And I was honest. I said we love each other a lot, a lot, and it's real. It's not. I love you. It's not the one-handed bro hug, love you, dog. Love. It's put your arms around. I'm happy to see you. And that doesn't mean it's all sunshine and rainbows either. Like we're very accountable and very direct in our way of talking, and it's so much like a family. And it was the most selfless team I had ever been around. And I don't know, when any organization, when you legitimately are performing a difficult task and your motivation is the happiness of somebody else, right? Like, and somebody that you truly love, like that's an unbelievable motivator. And we've had it to a certain degree on other teams, certainly, but I mean, I've never seen anything like that team in terms of their cohesiveness, selflessness, just legitimate want to do anything and everything to go through an inordinate amount of discomfort just to make sure that the other guy succeeds, and I don't know, you got me off on a tangent here, but I think that's kind of the crux of what I said. Yeah.
And I will tell you, when you first said that and stuff, I was a little shocked, right? Because I was like, I didn't think you would attribute love to why you won that night. Right. And you began to even expand on that's how you build championship level teams. And it's specifically when you said the players go on the field not to fight for themselves, but fight for the brothers next to them. Yeah. Let me tell you, that hit home. It almost felt like that was like to me, because I hadn't really led my company in that way. I had actually, quite contrarily, I was very selfish. I had led in a way that it was all about me. It was my way or the highway. And, I'm the CEO. I know what's best.
You guys are screwing up my company.
Exactly. And I had that mindset. And because I had been so inspired by that comeback victory, and then hearing you speak on Monday about what attributed to that success, but also how to build like high performing championship level teams, just blew my mind. Literally, I was like, what has love got to do with this, right? Because I'm like the CEO who wants this results, right? And hearing you speak that way, it truly changed my perspective. And I couldn't help myself, but I had to start thinking, do I love my team? Do I care for my team? And let me tell you, resounding answer that just kept coming back to me was, I didn't. I did not care for them the way you were describing. I didn't go on the field to fight for them. I fought for myself. It was all about me. And unfortunately, that had almost led me to near bankruptcy. But thankfully, I'm glad I'm able to thank you 10 years later.
Right.
That if it wasn't for that comeback victory and your press conference, I don't think I would be sitting here today still leading Softway as the CEO of Softway and written 2 books and helped leaders across the globe on how to lead with love and showing organizations how to prioritize their people to still achieve their business outcomes. None of this would have been possible had you not said what you said post that game. So I just want to share my gratitude.
Well, I appreciate that.
For that.
It's humbling to know, obviously the effect, but I'm proud that you have the stick-to-itiveness to see it through and do the work, because it's uncomfortable. You know, it's very difficult to, force yourself to love somebody, right? Normally that kind of just comes naturally, right? But I tell my assistant coaches, think of the players, and much like I think of the assistant coaches, like if you're a parent, right, and you have a child, you don't wait to see if you like that child's personality. You don't wait to see if it's handsome or smart or can run fast or jump high. You just love it because it's yours. You love that baby, you love that child because it is yours and you made it. And so it doesn't matter, where they came from, what their experience is, whatever. If you're, what org chart says that you lead these people, they are yours and they have your name on them. And so again, back to the kind of discomfort of maybe forcing how was that? When you say, I don't love any of these people, how do you show up the next day and say, I'm going to love all of these people that I don't love, right? So that's the hard part, I think, for a lot of people is, well, how do I love somebody that I don't love, right? I fell in love with my wife because I don't know, I loved her, right? I fell in love with her, I don't know. Right. But you've spent all this time not loving these people, and you want to go in and keep the same people, but love them different or treat them differently. And what was that transformation maybe like for you? Because that's the one that, this is how I was coached, and so yeah. I was lucky, I guess. I got great modeling and great examples, and it translated into me being pretty good at what I do. Yeah. But for you to have this massive transformation, that's always been something I wanted to ask you. Like, that's hard, right? Like, you just admitted to yourself, I don't love these people. Yeah. But I want to love these people. How did you go about that? So what I actually did after your press conference is I set up a all hands meeting 3 days later with our entire company, and I decided to declare to them, I love you all. Right. And let me tell you. That went over like a lead balloon. The reactions I got in the room were people rolling their eyes. They're like, who the hell is this guy? And I realized in the moment that, okay, wait a minute. I don't think I can just come and declare them, I love you all, after I just did layoffs, right. 3 weeks prior. And I realized in the moment that I had to start walking the talk before I talked the walk. So I spent a lot of time truly introspecting and building self-awareness to try and appreciate, how am I showing up? How am I being perceived? And where is it that I'm demonstrating the lack of love or the opposite of right. love? And let me tell you, I finally was able to understand how I showed up, and it was not good. It's funny that you say the opposite of love, because I think the opposite of love is fear. And oh yeah, I led from fear. Right. I was all fear. It was all fear. Like I remember like in that moment when I started to really contemplate, like, how was I showing up? I recognized more and more that
I had created an environment of fear, and for some reason, I actually liked it. I know it's hard to admit, but I think I enjoyed people being fearful of me because I thought in my mind that that's how I get results. That's how I motivate people, is through fear. And people were fearful of me so much so that I'd walk the hallways and the hallways would grow quiet, like in our bullpen area. And, you know, people did not want to come present anything to me because I would just poke holes, point mistakes, and, you know, at the end of it, I would tear them down based on their presentation. And I walk out saying, look at me, how smart I am. Look at me. I'm like the most talented CEO because I know how to fix it all. You know, I had an ego all inflated in there because I could point mistakes in other people. And so first step was I had to have a realization of how I was showing up. And then second step was I needed to do something about it. And so I had to work on myself quite a bit. And the best remedy for my ego in the moment was that I needed to practice selflessness. And that meant if I needed to serve our people, I would serve them. If I needed to bring coffee, if I needed to share my food, be the first one to get into the office and the last person to leave the office so that I only leave when everybody's gone.
They notice that's so much more than words, right?
Yes.
Right? Like the words don't, what is it? Your actions speak so loudly, I can't hear the words you say, right? Like nobody cares about what you say to them. It's what you do for them and how you make them feel.
Exactly. And to be honest, in that moment, I wasn't even doing it for them. I was doing it.
So you would feel better. Yeah.
I was doing it not even to feel better. I wanted to kill my ego. I wanted to, because I was the CEO that liked to drive fancy cars, have my office in the executive suite, and I wanted to be served. I wanted people to bring me coffee. I wanted them to do whatever I wanted them to do. And I wanted to challenge that all the way because I knew in that moment through self-awareness that my ego was really coming in the way of me loving my team. And the only way that I could like learn to love our team is if I stopped loving myself so much.
There you go. Yeah.
And I had to like suppress that and kill it, not in the sense in an unhealthy way where I'm like completely egoless, but enough so that I can think of others before myself. So I can put the needs of others before myself. So I had to really go on that journey. And the whole time, believe it or not, I was watching every single game because you were there till the end of 2016 season.
Yeah.
And every time I saw you speak at the press conference, I learned something new. I would bring it in. I would watch another game, see how the players played, what they did, how they loved each other, how they practiced hard. You know, they were there at 4 a.m. and they didn't show up. Chains were on the locker room. Like I got to like see all of that in addition to building my self-awareness. Like, okay, how do I start leading where I put the needs of others before myself? Really just came down to that. And then through that selfless practices, it helped me eventually recognize that, wait a minute, I really do love our team because the more I served them, the more I took care of them, the more I prioritized their needs or mine, I really realized that I had learned to love them.
Yeah.
And from that process, it just became natural that how I spoke to them, how I behaved with them was far more soft, far more loving, honest, and then I started to see the reciprocation from the team.
But it's similar. I think fear gets a bit of a bad rap too. You said you led from fear, but I think as long as the fear is, I'm afraid to not let somebody that I love or that loves me down, that's a very healthy fear, right? And so we're not saying to, or at least I wasn't saying to eliminate all fear, right? Because fear is a good motivator, angst and anxiousness, and that drives human beings for sure. But if the fear is centered around the results only, right? Like I don't know, the win or loss, and I get that that has to matter, but when the fear is about letting others down, then that's a much different motivator, and it allows for, I think, a much different reaction from that person in the way that they go about tackling this fear that they have.
The way that I framed it, and I see it now after going through this journey for quite a bit, is that there's never an absence of fear.
Never.
It's just that love creates an environment of courage.
Yeah.
So that even in spite of fear, we love each other so much that we have the courage to do the right thing.
Right. And if you don't love, the fear is going to win, and you react to the fear, and whether that's run or fight or whatever that is. But when love is involved, the fear doesn't go away, but the love drives the actions.
Exactly.
Because it's I don't want to get hokey, it's more powerful. It's slightly more powerful than the fear, right? Sure. And so it's going to drive the action. It doesn't mean that all that stuff went away. Yeah. It just, the driver of the action, no, we got a different driver.
Correct. Absolutely. So I couldn't suck out the fear of Mo.
Right.
But what I could do was by loving the team, I think I created a space for courage. There you go. Where people were able to try to come to me and speak honestly, give me feedback or challenge me. And that created an environment of innovation and high performance and empowerment and ownership that I had never seen before.